Hi, I'm Rachel with 7 and All, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Life of Fred Eden series of beginner readers. Now you may know of Life of Fred mostly from its math curriculum and math books, but this is a different series, the Eden series. It is a set of beginner readers. And today I want to talk to you about what this series is not and what it is. There are 18 books in the full series of beginner readers. I've gone through the whole series multiple times with different children. And what this series is not is it is not designed as a phonetic, systematic way of teaching children to read. In my opinion, it cannot be used for that. You do need to have another phonics curriculum, or you should be using this with students, with kids who are already reading at a basic level. They don't need to be reading fluently, but they should already have an introduction to sounding words out and also to basic sight words. They need to have some reading background, I would say, before they can start using this series. If you were buying this with the intention of using it as phonics primers, as of teaching children to read from the beginning, I think you would be very frustrated, because to me that's not what this series does. Now what this series is good for is providing additional reading practice, coming alongside of an early phonics program, or more likely coming slightly later after your child has been introduced to phonics, has developed some basic reading skills, but now they need some books that they can read, that they can get extra practice. Because the way that readers become better readers is by reading. And there are many big names in different phonics readers, early readers books out there. I've used many of the different series, many different curriculums. What makes this one different, and what makes it very good, in my opinion, is that they are not excruciatingly boring, not to adults or to children. I've used many different series, and this is the only series where I have had kids extremely excited, asking to read another chapter, super excited to go on to the next book, to find out what happens next. These books are funny and they are interesting. There's definitely a lot of humor that appeals to children in the more silly side, but there's also humor that appeals to the teacher who's going through these books with their kids. So they're just a lot of fun to read, which you cannot say that about most early readers. Most that I've used are a little bit too repetitive and boring. These have a lot of quirks. In this 18-book series, you follow the two main characters, Fred and his doll Kingie, who you will know if you've used any Life of Fred materials. These are the two main characters. You follow them through attempting to go on a vacation and building a house. And there's a lot of real-world type of information that comes into these books, such as how electricity works, how windows work, what are the stages involved in building a house and getting a kitchen set up just so that you can cook dinner, which are some of the parts that I find most amusing, is the mistakes that Fred makes along the way, and how Kingie comes alongside and helps him, and how they figure things out and get their house built just in time to head home and vacation is over. So these 18 books are all one continuing story, which I think really helps with kids being excited to finish one book and go on to the next book. They've got a lot of humor. The characters themselves are very interesting, quirky characters, which cannot be said about most characters in very early readers. They tend to be a bit boring because we have limited sounds that we can use, limited words that we can read. For an example of what one of the books is like, this is Electricity, book 13 in the series. This is one of my personal favorites. At this point, Fred and Kingie have built their vacation cottage, and they've acquired a bunch of electronic appliances for their kitchen, but the refrigerator is not getting cold. Kingie knows why the refrigerator is not getting cold, because it's not plugged in. And then we kind of remember the steps that they've taken to make the house. They've leveled the ground, poured the concrete, put on walls, roof, a door, and 2 windows, and bought the appliances, but we have no electrical outlets. This picture was a cultural experience for the kids in our homeschool because they've never seen plugs that look like this. These are US plugs, and we are not used to those. So Fred asked Kingie if he packed any electrical outlets, and how convenient, Kingie did, but Fred is only 4 years old and he should not play with electricity. This is what might happen if Fred used electricity. This is a piece of art by Kingie. And so they need to figure out who can help them get these electrical outlets in. They find a sign, Janice Electrical. They can call her, but they don't have a cell phone. There's problems galore when setting up a house. Anyone who's built a house knows this. They're trying to think about who owns a cell phone. None of these guys, but they saw a duck in an earlier book who did have a cell phone. So they're gonna borrow one. And the story continues. They're able to get electricity hooked up inside their house, and they get to figure out how that works. They have to connect to a meter as well. They need a switch. It's really fun to me because I have a special place in my heart for home construction and repair and electrical work. So this was really cool to me to see in a children's reader. You can see by the words that they're using that this is not a very early reader. The series does get more difficult as you get through. This is book 13, so this is in the last third of the series. So it is harder than some of the other books, than the earlier books, which are a lot simpler in their words. So it does get progressively more complex. But they are a lot of fun to read and to use. I hope you have enjoyed this review of the Life of Fred Eden series. If you like this video, please remember to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos about homeschool life and life abroad as a big family. All right, bye.